Quran Sharif, Allah Ta'ala mentions وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. This is primarily referring to the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. And then those who follow in their footsteps. Allah Ta'ala says, we made them a'imma, وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ a'imma. We made them leaders. Leaders in what? That they became the guides to mankind. They led people towards Jannat. They became the guides towards righteousness, towards success of both worlds. So they became leaders, but dunya, Allah Ta'ala has a system in dunya. The system in dunya is that on sifat, Allah Ta'ala then showers His blessings. So they who became these leaders, they obviously possess some sifat. Allah Ta'ala mentions the sifat that they had in particular, all the sifat were in them, but the highlights in this regard, lamma sabaru. The first aspect that is mentioned is that when they had that degree of sabr, extent of sabr that was required, they passed through that. Now in anything in life, person wants to achieve anything, it cannot be achieved without sabr. And to the extent of the sabr, to that extent he will progress, he will achieve what he's trying to get to. So now a person, for example, wants to achieve the great wealth of ilm, that's not going to happen without sabr. Whatever other words we might use to describe it, mujahada, etc., all come back to the same thing, that the essence of it is sabr. So the person has sabr, now there's something to be learned, and there's some other distraction to go and have some light-hearted talk somewhere over a cup of tea, but now this work has to be done. The person who doesn't have sabr will not be able to give preference to the work. He will rather just go and waste his time and while his time somewhere else. The need is now to be engaging in some ibadat. The person who doesn't have that sabr to complete his ma'mulat on time, for example, that sabr is not there, the slightest tiredness, whatever will come in the way, and he won't be able to continue, he will abandon it and he'll go do something else, he'll go sleep away. So at every step, the sabr is vital. Now Allah Ta'ala says, lamma sabaru, they had the sabr. So they adopted sabr in every regard. Whether it was on any calamity and difficulty that came, sabr in that regard, obviously. And whether it was in fulfilling what had to be done, that also the sabr, because that requires sabr as well. The time of salah, and a person is feeling now tired or sleepy, or it's a cold morning, whatever the case might be, it requires sabr to now move forward and do what has to be done. Likewise, a person is now being tempted towards some haram, some sin, whatever the nature of it might be, it requires sabr to refrain from it. So, lamma sabaru. And together with that, وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. The second aspect that is highlighted here is yaqeen. So to the extent of yaqeen will a person be able to adopt sabr. The yaqeen that this sabr is not in vain. That to the extent of sabr, a person gains this closeness of Allah Ta'ala. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. He has full yaqeen on this. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. Allah Ta'ala is giving basharat and glad tidings to those who adopt that sabr. إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّ الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. People who adopt that sabr, Allah Ta'ala will grant them the rewards limitless. Now he's got full yaqeen on all this. To the extent of the yaqeen, he'll adopt the sabr. That yaqeen is weak, it'll be very difficult to adopt the sabr. So these two are the highlights, and the second is actually the basis on which the second grows, or the sabr grows. So both these things have to be adopted. Whether a person is studying deen, to the extent he's got yaqeen in the virtue of that ilm, and in the benefit of that ilm. To that extent he'll have the sabr to acquire the ilm. And if this is now disappeared from his heart and mind, he's just not even sure whether this is the right thing to do, na'uz billah, whatever the case is, to adopt the sabr to do what has to be done will be very difficult. So to the extent the person builds this yaqeen, this is built by being in the company of people of yaqeen, reading about their lives and reminding oneself of what is the reality of this dunya, Allah Ta'ala's sifat, His qudrat, pondering over the creation of Allah Ta'ala, the heavens, the earth, and developing this yaqeen. To that extent, all these sifat become easy to adopt. Allah Ta'ala give us that.
अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है।